Hey guys, it's Thomas with Chrono24, and today we're doing a market report for you. We are looking at 5 watches that have grown tremendously in value over the past few months. Now, as a lot of you know, prices for watches in general, for better or for worse, have gone up tremendously over the past few years. And at Chrono24, we have a lot of data on how these secondary market prices have changed. So we've picked 5 to examine in depth. Now, before we dive in, I want to remind you, Chrono24 is doing a huge $10,000 giveaway towards your next purchase on the platform. If you want to find out more about how to win, check out the link in the description below. Now let's dive in. Today we're going to look at 5 popular watches from brands like Audemars Piguet, Cartier, Omega, and Patek Philippe. If you're looking for a Rolex specific video, we released one on our channel recently, and we'll have more Rolex specific videos coming out on our channel in the future, so stay tuned. First watch on our list today is the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak 15202. Now, back in 1972, Gerald Genta designed the first Royal Oak with reference 5402, and that basically originated the category of the modern luxury sport watch. The reference we're looking at today is very similar to that original model. It's the Royal Oak Jumbo Extra Thin, and it has the same 39mm case as the original. Now, why is the price for this watch going up? 2 main reasons. One is that steel sport watches in general are in very high demand, especially for brands like Audemars Piguet and especially for signature models like the Royal Oak. Now, reason number 2 is that Audemars Piguet recently announced that the 15202 ST will be discontinued and replaced in 2022. This has led to a roughly 60% increase in the market price for the Royal Oak 15202. Prices were already well above retail, and if you want to buy one now on Chrono24, you're going to need roughly $100,000. Now, the good news, if you want to call it that, is that prices have kind of leveled out over the past few weeks. Next up on our list is the Cartier Tank Basculante, reference number 2390. Now, this watch debuted in 1933, and what you'll notice is that this is not your everyday Cartier tank. What's special about this one is the unique case construction that allows the user to flip the watch over to protect the dial side. For other watch fans out there, you'll probably recognize the same functionality with the Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso. Now, what makes the Basculante 2390 especially popular is the sizing. This is the XL size version at 26mm by 38mm, which is definitely on the more modern and more masculine end for Cartier. On top of this, you have a very thin manual wound movement, the Frederic Piguet caliber 6.10, which has been well received by watch enthusiasts. So when you combine all this together, the name brand of Cartier, the unique case design here, and the movement, you're gonna get a fan favorite, and with that, prices are gonna go up. How much? Between March and July, we saw roughly a 48% increase in the price for this, and if you look on Chrono24 now, you're going to see prices range from roughly $10,000 to $15,000, depending on age, depending on condition, and depending on whether the original box and papers are included. This is a watch that's going to make you look like a millionaire, but you may need to be a millionaire in the first place to get it. The third watch on our list is the Omega Speedmaster Apollo 11 30th Anniversary Edition, reference number 3560.50.00. Now, this watch was released in 1999 to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the Apollo 11 mission that was the first to land on the moon. You'll notice that there's not a whole lot of difference between this watch and the regular moon watch that was already in production in 1999. That's the 3570. The difference here with the 3560 is with the case back engraving. This one has the famous Neil Armstrong quote, "The eagle has landed," and that's the differentiating factor here for collectors. Now, this watch was released in a limited number of 9,999 pieces, which is not a super small run, but in this case, it is enough to make it more valuable than the standard issue model. Financially speaking, we saw prices for this watch peak around June of this year, selling for roughly $6,200 on Chrono24. Now the watch has come back down to earth a little bit, selling for closer to $5,000, even less if you get lucky. But even with that leveling out, this is still roughly 30% higher than the prices that we saw in March. The fourth watch on our list is another Omega. It is the Omega Seamaster 200M Pre-Bond, reference number 368.1042. Now, this watch is called the Pre-Bond by collectors because it originally debuted in 1988. That is years before GoldenEye, when James Bond donned the Omega Seamaster 300M for the first time. Now with the 200M, you get a lot of options. It originally came in quartz and mechanical, steel and two-tone, and in a couple different sizes as well. The specific reference we're looking at today is the 38mm automatic version. Now, an increasing amount of collectors have been a fan of this watch because it remains a relatively affordable Omega Seamaster. And even though prices have increased by about 26% between March and July, this remains a relatively affordable watch for collectors, with prices ranging between roughly $1,500 to $3,000 on Chrono 24. All right, now let's talk about the venerable, the unimpeachable, the all-important Patek Philippe. Today we're talking about the Aquanaut 5167A-001. Now, as the entire world knows at this point, the price of Patek Philippe's Nautilus has gone through the roof. And as Patek's most famous sport watch has grown astronomically in price, so too have its other offerings. After all, a rising tide raises all ships. Now, the Aquanaut 5167A was originally released in 1997 as a way to attract a younger audience to the brand. You'll see this through details like the playful dial design and the rubber strap that gives this watch a sporty, more playful take on Patek's heritage. And almost 25 years later, the 5167A remains largely unchanged from the first generation. And now that prices for the Nautilus are becoming increasingly out of reach, you have more and more collectors shifting their focus to watches like the Aquanaut. And with this increased attention brings increased prices. We at Chrono 24 have seen a 25.7% increase between March and July of this year. The Aquanaut 5167A-001 is selling for almost 3 times its list price. And if you're looking on Chrono 24, you're gonna need at least $60,000 to play ball. So there we go. There is a quick glimpse at how 5 watches have surged in price over the last few months. Love it or hate it, you probably hate it. Drop us a comment below to let us know what you're seeing on the ground. We'll have more market reports coming on our channel in the near future, so stay tuned for that. I'm Thomas at Chrono 24. We'll see you soon. Thanks so much for watching and enjoy your watches.